Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we are tackling a huge question. What are the absolute, hands down, healthiest foods you can possibly eat? We're going to break down the top 7, all based on the fantastic advice from Dr. Berg. And trust me, some of these might actually surprise you, especially when we get to the healthiest nut and a pretty controversial take on red meat.
Okay, let's get right into it. Before we can even start listing foods, we gotta ask a more basic question, right? What does healthy actually mean? Is it just about vitamins? Is it low calorie? Turns out, the real definition is a little more specific than that.
So according to Dr. Berg, it all boils down to 2 really simple but powerful rules. On one hand, you've got unhealthy foods, the ones that spike your insulin and actually drain your body of nutrients. So it just makes sense that the healthiest foods do the exact opposite. They barely touch your insulin, and they are absolutely packed to the brim with nutrients. This simple idea is the foundation for our entire list.
So, with those 2 rules locked in our minds, let's jump in and see which foods actually make the cut.
All right, first up, the plant-based powerhouses. We're going to look at 4 incredible foods from the earth that are, without a doubt, absolute nutritional champions.
Kicking us off is sauerkraut. Now, you gotta check out this vitamin C number. Your daily requirement is around 75 milligrams. You know how much is in 1 cup of sauerkraut? Over 700 milligrams. That is a massive dose. And get this, you know how the probiotics in yogurt often get wiped out by your stomach acid? Well, the bacteria in sauerkraut are like little survivors. They actually make it to your gut where they can do their job. It's a true superfood.
Next up, arugula. If you're building a salad, this should be your #1 choice for the base. So why arugula, and not something like spinach? Well, spinach is actually high in something called oxalates, which can contribute to kidney stones. Arugula is low in them. Better yet, it helps your body create nitric oxide, which is amazing for your heart and blood vessels. It literally helps them relax and improves your blood flow. So much more than just the salad green.
Okay, for all the nut lovers out there, listen up. Pecans are arguably the healthiest nut you can eat. Here's why. They have the lowest amount of net carbs of any nut, which is perfect for keeping insulin low. And they have this ideal fat-to-protein ratio of 7:1. That high level of healthy fat is exactly what keeps you feeling full and satisfied, making them a perfect fit.
And our final plant-based powerhouse, real, high-quality extra virgin olive oil. And I mean the good stuff. The phytonutrients in it have an anti-inflammatory effect that's been compared to ibuprofen. How wild is that? It also helps protect your brain from the kind of plaque linked to Alzheimer's and supports your mitochondria, the tiny power plants inside every one of your cells. Oh, and of course, that healthy fat is what helps you absorb all the other nutrients in your salad.
Okay, time to switch gears and talk about animal products. And for this section, the 2 big themes are getting the right ratio of fat to protein, and I can't stress this enough, always choosing high-quality sources. Kicking off this list is a true superstar of the sea, wild-caught salmon. And that little phrase, wild caught, is absolutely crucial. It makes all the difference, as you're about to see.
And this chart just says it all, doesn't it? Just look at this. A small 3-ounce piece of wild salmon has over 2,000 milligrams of omega-3s for your brain. Now compare that to something like cod with just 171 milligrams. The difference is just staggering. And hey, if you're worried about mercury, salmon is also loaded with selenium, which actually helps your body counteract any mercury it might absorb.
All right, let's talk about number 6. Now, stay with me on this one. Cod liver. I know, it does not sound like the most delicious thing on the planet, but you've got to hear me out on this.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. Here's what Dr. Berg himself says about it. He describes the texture as being like pudding and says it doesn't even have a fishy taste. It's truly one of the most nutrient-packed things you can possibly eat. So what's the big deal? Well, while fish oil gives you omega-3s, cod liver gives you those same omega-3s plus the active forms of vitamin A and vitamin D, which is huge. It also has this amazing 5:1 fat-to-protein ratio, which makes it absolutely perfect for ketosis, that state where your body is burning fat for fuel. And for our 7th and final food, we've got something that's actually pretty practical and easy to find: grass-fed hamburger. And those 2 words, grass-fed, are everything. This is not your average fast food burger patty.
Now, I know exactly what a lot of you are probably thinking right now. For decades, we've all been told that red meat is bad for us, that it's linked to cancer and heart problems. So let's just tackle that head on.
Well, Dr. Berg's position on this is crystal clear. He argues that this idea is just completely false because the studies that show those negative links almost never separate cheap processed meat from high-quality grass-fed meat. And that difference in quality, well, it changes everything.
And here's what's so cool about hamburgers specifically. That 2-to-1 fat-to-protein ratio actually helps you digest it better than, say, a lean steak. It's also packed with something called carnosine, which fights a key part of aging called glycation. You can basically think of glycation as damage caused by sugar in your body. So yeah, it's a real nutritional workhorse. So there you have it. That's the list. But look, the real magic here isn't just memorizing 7 foods. It's about understanding the why behind them. So here's a simple blueprint to put this all into practice.
It honestly just boils down to these 3 simple steps. First, always go for foods that aren't going to send your insulin on a roller coaster. Second, out of those options, pick the ones that are just bursting with nutrients. And third, do not fear fat. Healthy fats are your friend. They're what help you absorb all those good nutrients and keep you feeling full.
And that brings us to the end of our breakdown. From sauerkraut to salmon to grass-fed beef, we've covered some seriously powerful foods. So the only question left is, which one of these superfoods are you excited to add to your plate first? Let us know what you're putting on your next shopping list.